Hello, Billy.
How's it going, Jason?
Doing all right. So, what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about a few things, but we're going to start off with who we are and what we do. So, Billy, let's start with you.
I'm Billy Sweetman.
And I'm Jason, and we're going to talk about video games for an hour-ish, if everything goes well. So, let's start off with what are we playing? What are you playing, Billy?
Right now it's Witcher 2, mostly, and then a lot of War of the Vikings. I bought into the early access after, I guess you got free access for it if you bought War of the Roses, and so I had free access for that for 2 days, and now I've been playing that, and that game is a ton of fun. I really liked what they changed from War of the Roses.
Oh, is it the same people?
Yeah, it's the same studio. God, I forget who they are. It's like Fat Shark. I think they're the same guys that did the Bionic Commando Rearm 2.
Oh, right on. All right.
Yeah. So, but like War of the Roses, like we actually picked that up for a LAN party game, and everyone played that and loved it. But some of the things, I mean, it was frustrating for like newer people to get in there because it's that sort of like very. There's a lot of finesse to the combat. It's like if you swing right, someone needs to block right to block it. You know, they have to like all the blades have actual, or all the collision is actually modeled out on the blades. So like if you hit a guy with an axe and you only hit him with the pole instead of the axe head, you know, he's not going to take any damage and stuff like that. So there's a lot of distance.
It's pretty nuanced.
Yeah, and some of the like they made it so now you can actually like you can sprint, which is like the best thing ever. Hold on one second. There's a wasp on my wall.
Now, is it smeared all over your wall?
No, he's on my desk. But just to prove I am not lying, watch me get stung. Can you see this? That is a
Yes.
wasp.
Wow.
I don't know, like our apartment complex, I don't know what they're doing, but I swear to God there's like 1,000 wasp nests outside.
Wow.
But anyways, so they like added the ability to run and sprint, so you can actually get across the battlefield a lot faster. Every character now has some sort of ranged weapon, which is nice. So like, if you play like a Thane, you get little throwing axes. If you play the heavier dude, you get little throwing blades and stuff like that.
Oh, so is it essentially just War of the Roses with Vikings? I thought it was. I don't know. When I looked at the early access thing, and I got the impression that it was more kind of half Mountain Blade, half War of the Roses.
Well, War of the Roses is Mountain Blade, except for third person.
And like arena combat, though, isn't it? Like
No,
Mountain Blade is like super huge, open, do whatever you want.
yeah. Well, yes and no. The maps in Mountain Blade are a lot bigger, like a lot bigger. And I mean, I think they get more people on a server. I've only played Mountain Blade like twice.
Gotcha.
But like in War of the Roses, I mean, you get like a 64-player server. It's 32 on 32. They have Capture the Point, which is actually one thing. Like Chivalry is kind of that same style of
Yeah.
game. But Chivalry actually has like really cool objective modes, which I'm hoping they add for War of the Viking.
Right
Because
on.
that's one thing. Like you can only deathmatch so much before you're like, all right, give me something else to do.
Right. Right.
So that, and then I'm trying to finish Witcher 2 before the third one comes out.
How long do you think you got left?
I'm in Act 2. I'm like halfway through Act 2, I think. So I don't know, probably a good
Probably got a bit yet. Yeah.
hours into it. I really only have a chance to play on the weekend, so it's that, and then a little bit of Grand Theft Auto.
You got the new one. You got 5.
Yeah, I got 5. So I get to play that when the fiance is home because she actually really enjoys watching that being played. So
Right on. I feel like every one of their brothers talked about that, so I don't want to spend a huge amount. Have you tried the online thing?
I made my dude, which looks super weird. Well, it's interesting. So you have to pick your grandparents, and then you
What?
so you pick your grandparents, and then from there you say how much do your parents look like they're the two sets of grandparents, and then from there you go how much do you look like your parents, and that's kind of like your default guy.
Okay.
Choose like some hairstyles and stuff like that. Yeah, I was like, this is kind of the best character creation ever.
Oh, that's
I wish you actually got to name your grandparents and stuff, because you could have had like this little family tree. I don't know if it
yeah,
ever.
like a lineage or something for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if it actually like matters beyond that point, because I got in, watched the opening cutscene, and then it was like, our infrastructure cannot handle the 20 billion people trying to play this right now.
I was watching the morning show on Giant Bomb with Patrick and Alex, Bombing in the AM or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they brought up an interesting thing where, like, some people are upset because people aren't as pissed about how this GTA Online thing is working as compared to like SimCity. Like, the world was in an absolute uproar when SimCity like didn't work, but everyone's not in it. I mean, some people are super pissed, obviously, but everyone's like, whatever, they'll figure it out. So I never really thought about it in that, like, maybe people like Rockstar better than EA. There's a surprise, but
well, yeah, I mean, but it's also different because like you couldn't even play the normal game.
Right.
Yeah, I could still go, mess around in the world or play the story.
You can still play Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and you couldn't play SimCity.
Yeah.
It was just an interesting point that they brought up this morning.
So what are you playing?
I have been playing Torchlight 2 like there is no tomorrow.
I've seen that. Sometimes I question if you're actually at work.
Well, I have for the next. Well, this week I've had the last few Fridays off. So this is my last week to have Friday off, and then we start working Fridays again. Kind of a post-camp bonus is that we only work Monday through Thursday for a few weeks after camp just to try to rest up. So.
Oh, nice.
It's been on Friday. I haven't actually been at work. So I have put a ton of hours into that game in not a very long time. I really liked it. I liked it a lot better than Torchlight 1. The only thing that, it's just me being, I don't know, a snob or something, but the parallels to Torchlight 1 and 2 and Diablo 1 and Diablo 2 are outrageously not even trying to cover it up similar.
Yeah.
Like, they flow exactly the same in terms of story and, like, structure of how the world is played out, and, like, what you're doing is essentially the same. It was hilarious. Like, once I came upon it in my brain, I was like, wow, I've traveled this story before. But it was still really enjoyable. It's a Disney Diablo is the way I look at it. It just has that art style that's super friendly, and sure, there's little gouts of blood, but it's not, there are corpses.
Nothing gratuitous.
Yeah, it's not like outrageous. But I played the Berserker guy, just running around punching dudes, and I mean, it's more Torchlight. You still have the fame system, and you level, and you have talents. And I actually did something different, and I was surprised that the game let me do it, and it worked. Is I put like all of my points into like passive abilities. I only had 2 spells the entire game. Like I got to like level 56, and I only had 2 spells the entire game. The rest of the time, it was I just make my punching stronger. And I would just sit and punch bosses until they died. And they just had talents where if you laid it out right, it would work, and it was pleasant to be able to do that, because I could start another Berserker guy and build him completely differently and basically have a completely different game. Yeah, and I think that's where Diablo 3 went wrong, is that they took that away. But so I blew through that, finished it. Did some of the end game stuff, because when you beat the game, you do these maps. Like, you purchase these, they're just maps from this little like raccoon looking dude.
Okay.
And then it's like, oh, this is the Wyvern dungeon, level 52 to 56, and some of them have random properties, like you might do 200% more damage, You might get 5% extra gold. You might do 15% less damage. So some of them have these goofy properties, and that's kind of the end game of that. You can also start a new game plus, which is exactly you keep all your gear, you keep your level, and you just start over at the first quest and have to play through. Everything's reset. All the areas are regenerated, randomly regenerated.
So then the raccoon guy replaces in Torchlight 1. They had that like endless dungeon mode or whatever.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I gotta get that game yet. I loved the first one, but Diablo 3 kind of soured me on any sort of action RPG.
And that's fair. I oddly enough, I've had a weird hankering to reinstall it and play it just to kind of I don't know why. But I mean, at the end of the day, punching dudes was really fun. Like roundhouse kicking demons was super fun, but I haven't had the gumption to reinstall it. But for some reason, I
probably will when the expansion comes out.
Yeah, I keep wanting to just to reconfirm that yes, I didn't enjoy this game. They fucked up in all these manners. But I find it interesting that some people are super into that those types of games. My roommate watched me play Max Payne 3, and she thought that was there's 3 hours worth of cutscenes in Max Payne, so you never go very long until there's some story exposition. Whereas I was playing Path of Exile at the time. And she was like, "This is so boring. All you're doing is just brainlessly killing guys." And it's true. I would be slogging through dudes, and I would clear out a level of a dungeon. I'd look at the clock, and I'm like, "That was 40 minutes." My brain was completely shut off, waiting through dudes for 40 minutes. But some people are super into that. Because when you think about it, Diablo, Torchlight, Path of Exile, Titan Quest, even Borderlands to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Not so much Borderlands, but they're all that type of game. So I have 7 different games that are the same game, and that doesn't bother me. Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
They're grinding lootless games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I find and whatever, it's some, like you said, some people really enjoy that style of game. My fiance will watch me play all the way through. She sat and watched me play BioShock Infinite in 2 sittings. Pulled up a kitchen chair next to my desk and was just absolutely engaged the entire time. She is so pumped for the DLC. She just wants to watch that story unfold. But if I'm sitting there playing Civilization, she could not care less. She's like, "This is so dumb. Why are these people even talking to you? What are you doing?" It's she's like, "You've been staring at the same screen for 2 hours." I'm like, "Yeah, but this decision, who knows? This could just, the whole world could fall apart after I make this decision."
For sure. When I live with Kev, who I want to get in on this, I think Kev's going to be our hilarious mouthpiece, and I want that to happen. He would play Railroad Tycoon, and holy God, I really enjoyed it. Put a ton of hours into it. I don't know how, because I looked at it and I'm like, no, this is so outrageously boring. Because I can see it because you're engaged in economics, and there's a certain matter of you would learn geography because you're he had to build the rail, he chose to build the railway through Wisconsin, so he learned geography to a certain degree and economics and stuff. So I can see things here and there, but holy God, it was boring.
Well, for me, and I don't know if it's just as I get older. I mean, I still like a good story game. I like the BioShocks. I'm looking forward to Witcher 3. I mean, I'm get whatever the next Elder Scrolls game, except for the MMO, comes out. But I'm starting to really like games that are just purely system driven. I actually did not like the Total War series at all. And I know, and I never played it. It's this looks really dumb. You can control 1 million units and all this other stuff.
Right.
But after playing Shogun 2 a lot, and then going back and playing Empire, I sort of like those games where it's just here are these rules, you play with the rules, you play within the rules, and let's just see what happens. Civilization's been getting its hooks into me. I've been thinking about getting, what is that, what is it, that Empire, the one, Crusader Kings 2, they modded it where you can have, like, the Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, I saw you added that on Steam, and I raised an eyebrow, but yeah, I hear a lot of good things about that. Like if you're into that, like that sort of game, that's a prime example of it done well.
Yeah,
I understand.
I mean, like one of my if for some reason someone ever gave me a ton of money, like one of my dream projects would be to do a game that is all about political espionage and like being able to sort of like playing. You ever watch House of Cards? The Netflix show with Kevin Spacey? Well, it's really good. But being Kevin Spacey amongst a group of friends where he's just going around and all he's doing is manipulating people and making all these horrible trades to get his means. But, you have to kind of play along and everyone's trying to do their own thing. But, like, something like that.
So you want to get into politics is what you're saying.
The video game. The safe realm of the video game politics. We'll just set it in space or something and it'll be okay. But it's like doing that with your friends, because it's like Total War is fun, but it's not the same as like playing Risk, where you're trying to like manipulate other players into like doing things, for you, making all these off trades, or all of a sudden someone just doesn't like somebody for some real world issue, and they bring that into Risk.
Oh, God, you're a Republican. Yeah. I. To a certain degree, something was on Giant Bomb today about it was called like Spy Party or something.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to play that.
And that caught my eye. I was intrigued by that. I only watched the video for a few seconds, but the fact that you have to like plant like bugs, I didn't quite get the gist. But you're walking around a party spying on people, and that.
Well. So, to my understanding, because I've been following this game for a while, like one person plays a spy in the party, and they have a certain amount of objectives they have to do, like plant a bug on somebody, steal something, and then somebody else plays a sniper, and they have to try to watch to see who the spy is and take him out before.
Come on! Oh, that sounds awesome.
So it's just like a one-on-one battle of the wits, just pure stress game.
Nice. I actually, when we started about getting into this Dungeons and Dragons thing that we're going to be doing next month, I took a long look at the Warhammer version, the Dark Heresy stuff, and it's a shit show because I can't imagine any campaign ever being completed with everyone still alive. Like it just like the descriptions that they go into about wounds to your character, like your head turns into mist, and like just, I was like, this is a masochist's game, but they had a lot of really cool kind of that political intrigue, and like sure you can, because you don't play as an Inquisitor, you play as their acolytes.
Yep.
So like the game master is technically the Inquisitor, and you are just like his henchman, basically, because he's off doing whatever, and you need to go solve this problem over here. And so there was a lot of room for that kind of politicking and being like, well, if I'm a smooth talker, this is going to play out completely different than, and we're like the governor might be involved, and like who knows about this traitor legion over here, and just like kind of the books have always really intrigued me in that regard, like because the Inquisition is that, we're not just giant space marines tromping through, crushing everybody's head. They have to, like, go to parties and deal with all these bureaucrats and try to manipulate things. So I definitely understand the intrigue, but I am not into civilizations or any of that. I just kind of want to be taken for a ride.
See, and that's where, like, this is one thing, like, when XCOM came out, I was always joking with the guys at work. I'm like, we need to play XCOM like the real government. There is one person is managing the base and all the finances and making sure that stuff's out, and then you as grunts You just
Yep.
deal with what you're given. You know,
Yep.
just like you're out here taking it to the field. You're just like, you gave me this, you gave me sticks and stones. You know, and it's like that would actually be like if you could somehow, you know, do an XCOM with like 5 of your buddies where one guy's managing all the everything and then everyone else has to handle missions and stuff like that. I mean, that could be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, and then they have to deal with his shitty decision. Yeah, like, oh, well, we lost Asia, so now we don't have any planes. You know, like, now what?
Yeah, you know, and if you have 5 different squads, they're all going to want different stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and you're like, well, I can only buy one gun. There's 5 of you,
Sure.
so.
I think like natural selection has a bit of that, because you're the commander and you like everyone's like, I need ammo, I need health, and you're like, no, like,
Yeah.
sorry, man. Which the reinforcement crowdfunding thing for that game is not doing so great.
Oh, it's not?
Oh, it's really not. So
I'm surprised
I
that
think
game
they're at like
didn't go-
130,000 of 500,000, and it's been going for like a month now or something. So it's a bit of a mess.
That sucks, because that game's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's I've only ever played the Marines, and I just get shit on all the time. So I don't know if it's just a lack of knowledge on my part, or if it's a balance issue, or
It's a, it's like the old TF2, it's like a barrier of entry.
yeah,
Like, there's so many things at work at one time that, like, if you don't know what's going on, you get eaten alive.
yeah, absolutely. So what are you going to play after you're done with The Witcher 2?
Well, I'm either gonna dive into the Dark Souls fiasco.
I've been toying with that as well. Now that I'm done with Torchlight, I'm not sure where I'm gonna go, but
Yeah, like everyone at work has played it like 20 times, and they're just like saying of how great it is. We still have guys at work who are playing it still. And I was like, well, all right, maybe I'll try this. I kind of like the idea of like a super brutal game. That or I've been watching a lot of Rome Total War 2 Let's Plays.
have
So I've
they
been watching that.
did they fix that?
It seems like it's fixed for just about everyone. Danny says it's still too easy. He's playing it on Legendary or hard. He hasn't gone to Legendary yet, and he says he's taken on armies that are 3 times his size. And I'm like, well, you should probably just sign up for the army if that's the case.
You should be doing something other than you're doing, because clearly you're a tactical genius.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I might play that or Dark Souls 2. I don't know. I've got quite the backlog, so I'll probably just pick something off there.
Yeah, I've been chipping away at the backlog. I've kind of I had like 5 or 6 games that I was like within an hour of beating, and I just stopped. So those are all kind of, like Torchlight 1, I was like 2 levels away from the end, and a few other ones. So now that Torchlight 2 is done, I've shelved that for now. It's either Dark Souls 2, Darksiders 2. I really should finish Skyrim. So I'm kind of up in the air about what direction I want to go in after that. Because I did the Dragon. I need to do the Dragonborn stuff for Skyrim and the Dark Brotherhood and the Thieves Guild, and then I'll pretty much be shelving that as well.
I think I did everything in there except for the main story.
I think that's fair. Yeah, that doesn't strike me as unusual. I only did it because I just wanted to get it done. It's really not great. I think the ending of Oblivion was a little more rewarding than the ending of Skyrim, but because it's kind of like, oh, you're done.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So. Just another Elder Scrolls game.
Yeah, it's like I really like the Elder Scrolls games a lot. Like some of the best world building out there.
For sure.
Like in the sense of the artistic talent to put those worlds together, and then the lore and how everything in Skyrim is just like mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
But man, like to me, I don't know how anyone plays that game other than a sneaky bow and arrow dude, because like the hitting dudes with the swords is not that great yet. Like the magic is just run backwards and shoot fireballs.
Yeah. Yep. It's
So like
back.
to me, the only way to play that game is a stealth character, because then you're actually kind of stressed out about the situation you're in, you know. But
I don't have the patience because when you're sneaking around, you're going super slow, and like I like to think that I would really enjoy a sneaky guy, but I literally would only make one to do the Thieves Guild and the Dark Brotherhood just from a lore standpoint, just because like I'm a big dude and I don't even know what kind of armor I'm wearing. I think I'm wearing Dawn Guard armor. You know, like I'm just not gonna sneak around some dude's house and steal his shit, or
yeah,
murder him, or whatever the case may be. So I'd like to start kind of like a, like a stealthy cat guy or something, just to get that done and out of the way and move on. Because I have like 130 hours into that game.
jeez.
Well, to be fair, I think I left it on overnight a couple of times, so some of those are bloating the stats on that.
Oh wow.
That's right. Kev has 430 hours in Mountain Blade, so
Does it really?
Yeah. But again, I think he like leaves it on like overnight. Like he says he doesn't. Like when you ask him, he's like no, and we're all like, shut up. Like come on. Like we know better. You're not playing Mountain Blade at 8:30 in the morning when I wake up. Give me a break.
I didn't know that he liked games like that. I should ask him how he.
Kev likes any game where he is either absolutely forced to commit or he has to make no commitments. Like, he can't do Oblivion, he can't do Mass Effect, he can't do Skyrim, he can't do Dragon Age, but he can do, like, Call of Duty, where he is one guy, and you either shoot this gun or you shoot a different gun. So, like, fundamentally everything is the same. Or it's like Mountain Blade, where you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
But anything where he's asked to commit to play the game a certain way when there are options to play it a different way, no good. We started the Diablo 2 campaign like 17 times, and every time we get to like Act 2, he's like, I want to try a sorceress, and I'm like, fuck it, nope, all done, not doing it. So that's kind of what I plan on playing next. So now we got about a half hour left. So got a couple of options. We can either start with the really heavy news items that we want to talk about, or we can start with, I added a couple of things since the last time you looked, or we can talk about some games that we've seen that are interested, or I particularly want to talk about this holiday season in terms of games, because I was listening, again, I was watching that Bomb in the AM, and they were listing off the games that are coming out this holiday season, and I'm not really intrigued by any of them.
I feel the same exact way, so I would be fine talking about that.
Sure. Okay, well then we'll invert the list for now. We'll do holiday games, games that I have spotted that are intriguing to me that might not necessarily be coming out anytime soon. Then the prominence of streaming with the next-gen consoles, I find that to be super interesting, and I'm curious as to what people are going to do with it. And then we'll do kind of the developer quality of life things, and we'll wrap up with women in video games, because I don't think any of us have a really firm stance on any of that. So they were listing off things like Watch Dogs and oh goodness, that game where you sneak around and stab people with the little wrist blade. It's that series that everyone's into.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, there you go. One of those, and handy Marvel, Lego stuff, and just a lot of big games that I am just really not interested in. Of course, maybe that has to do with the fact that the next gens are coming out around that same time.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the list right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, I want the Assassin's Creed game to be really good because I've been dying for a good pirate game for a long time. I was actually really disappointed that the Disney one, the Pirates of the Caribbean game, was supposed to be an action RPG. They it looked fantastic. You could have a guy who had an anchor on his back and he whipped it around as a weapon, and they just
Mhm.
canceled it. You know, but then it's like, but then it's an Assassin's Creed game. Like it would, to me, it's like that would be a better game if it was an Assassin's Creed. But they're going to use Assassin's Creed to sell the game. So yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I know like Watch Dogs is coming out, but like after playing Grand Theft Auto, I'm kind of burnt out on open world games.
Well, yeah, yeah. Between Grand Theft Auto and Sleeping Dogs and now Watch Dogs and just I, I've never really been into the Grand Theft Autos. I played 3 a little bit. I played quite a bit of Vice City. I fired up Crackdown the other day because it was free on Gold, so I re-downloaded it and played that for a little bit. And yeah, it just nothing about that game really flips my switch. I've never been a big Assassin's Creed fan. I mean, yeah, they're great games, just not really anything I'm interested in. I mean, looking at this list, aside from the next gen launches, it's like the Stick of Truth
Yeah,
is
I think
the only
that's
thing
one.
that strikes me as even remotely interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in that game mainly because it's not an open world game. Like every game now, it has to be an open world game. Even like Battlefield 4, like I'm excited to play it in multiplayer, mostly to play with like my friends and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But like I didn't even Battlefield 3. I played one mission on the single player, and that was it. You know, and then
that's
like
about all you need to do. Yeah, it's not.
yeah, and like the multiplayer doesn't look so different. I mean, yeah, a building falls down, and then you can be inside that building, which is cool. I'd
Yeah,
like to see what other kind of cool map stuff they do, but I don't feel like, for me as a casual Battlefield player, it doesn't. It's not like, oh my God, they have changed everything. They might have.
right,
I don't follow it that closely. So
right,
yeah, this holiday is kind of nice because it's like there's really no games I want to buy coming out.
right.
Um, I'm interested. There's certain ones that like, oh, if it reviews well, maybe I'll pick it up and give it a try. But it's like I can just get through my backlog.
Yep,
Steam can have their Christmas sale. I can buy,
yep,
whatever game that I wanted to play then and try it out.
sure.
I've been like, I haven't picked up a ton of games yet because it's like I just don't have time to play them, and I'm trying not to buy anything if I'm not going to play it.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, this whole like, I mean, I really want to play Titanfall, but that doesn't come out until what, February, March?
Yeah, I think it's quarter 2.
Oh, so it's even later than that. Wow.
I don't don't quote me on it, but uh, Prey 2 is still on the launch for 2014 or 2014, still on the list.
Yeah, I wonder what they're gonna do, what Bethesda's gonna do with that.
See what happens with that.
Oh, I do want to play the new Wolfenstein. That game looks pretty fantastic. But that's like
That's
quarter
that's
two.
next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
this holiday is really weird because even if you're getting a like PlayStation, like Kurt was all excited for the PlayStation 4 and he wanted to play Infamous Second Son, and I was like, well, that's like next summer.
yeah. Yeah.
No.
You're way off, Kurt. Come on.
Well, I
And
mean, Sony's
maybe
doing a good job of misleading people with that.
that might be the plan. That might be what they're doing. Like, hey, we'll lighten the load because if someone's like, do I buy the $60 game that I really want, or do I buy the $600 new console that I really want? So
Yeah,
who knows what sort of strategies they're using.
yeah, and Grand Theft Auto was my last gen console purchase. I mean, even before that, I hadn't picked up a game. The last game I picked up was Ni no Kuni for
How was
consoles, and
that?
that was it. It was really good. I never finished it, so it's on my backlog.
Sure.
But it's really good. Oh man, the environment art in there is absolutely amazing. Like one of the most gorgeous looking games ever.
I think my last full price console purchase was like Mass Effect 3.
Oh wow.
Because I converted to a PC snob and I'm stingy as hell. I like why would I pay $60 for a game when a few months later it's $30 or whatever the case may be. It's Steam is maybe a cheap bastard for sure.
I can see that. I mean, I still they're like Thief 4 is going to come out. I hope it's good, even though a lot of people are saying it's not. But it's like
I've heard
I
some
enjoy
bad
this.
things about it.
I enjoy this franchise. I will give you my $60 day one. I probably won't play it for 6 months down the road, but it's like I'm showing you with my money that there.
Yeah, for sure. And it's nice to do that. It's nice to. I kind of sort of did that with Metro, the new Metro game. I bought it on the summer sale. It was like 30. I spent way too much on the summer sale, but that single purchase was a good chunk of like what I spent just on one. It was a lot of $2 here, $3 there, $7 there, $12 there, and then like 35 or whatever it was for Metro. And I did that with Dead Space 3 when that came out, and that was pretty much paying full price sucks. Not a huge fan anymore.
Well, it's different. Like at least the way I kind of see it is like I look at my cousins and the way they play games and the way I play games is different. Like I consume video games. Like there was a point where I was buying 3 games like a month, maybe 4, probably upwards of 6, and just hammering through them and getting rid of them right. Like, all right, this game's done. Give me the next one. This one's done. But it's like now I really don't have time to do that, and it's like, and as my interests start to change in the games I want to play, like my cousins, all they ever play is like Civilizations, all the weird European front, World War II, Battle of the Bulge style stuff.
Like all the Calypso games and the Tropico games, stuff
Yep,
like
they play that stuff, and that one game will last them for like the entire summer. Like that is the only game they're playing, the only game they're talking about.
Kudos to them, holy man.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, you could probably put Civ 5 on marathon mode and just run a huge map that takes you 3 months to complete, and they're not so invested into the game industry where it's like they don't go to the Kotaku or any. I mean, they check them every once in a while, but most of the time it's like what showed up at Steam in the top browser, for a new release, and if it looks interesting, they'll buy it.
Yeah.
They might buy one game every 2 months or something.
Wow. I think I'm on a bit of a dry spell. I don't think I bought 3D Mark today because it was on sale, but
you should buy War of the Vikings.
You keep telling me that.
Then you can listen to Viking metal while being a Viking.
Does sound amazing. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, the lineup. It's a lot of buying games that are dirt cheap because, well, I bought games like Condemned because it was like $7, and I bought both the BioShocks a while ago because they were, I think it was 2 for $5. It was 1 and 2 for $5.
Yeah.
Which actually BioShock 2 was re-released on Steam with the games for Windows Live removed, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I gotta get that because I still have not played Minerva's Den.
Patrick Klepek swears by it. Like he considers it to be better than the main campaign of BioShock 2, and it's really good. But I enjoyed it. I feel like he saw something different than what I saw, but I absolutely love BioShock 2. I actually enjoyed the reason for why I was doing what I was doing in Rapture. I enjoyed it way more than what I enjoyed it in BioShock 1.
Yeah, in 1 you didn't really know what you were doing until...
And then, I guess, spoiler alert, you are told that you haven't had any choice in the matter, and that, I don't know, Ken did that in BioShock Infinite as well, and that kind of irked me a little bit. But in BioShock 2, you're doing what you're doing because you have to. You don't have a choice. And that reason why it is not a choice is actually really cool. And how you go about it and how it influences that girl with your decisions and stuff is really cool. And Minerva's Den was good. kind of along the same lines. There's, it's good. It's worth it. And I think it was on sale for $5. But I have the collector's edition, so I will never get rid of my 360 collector's edition version of it. So I'm not in a super big rush to buy it on.
Yeah, I have the collector's edition for that too. One of the few collector's editions I'm still happy that I bought.
Oh no, I enjoy all of mine. My shelf is bowed terribly because of the weight of all the collector's editions I have on it.
I actually skipped getting Heart of the Swarm and just got the art book off of someone on eBay.
That's fair.
Because I was like, I still want to get the game and play it. I just don't want all the other stuff with it. Like, I don't want the box or anything else.
Oh, see, I kind of do, because I don't really like the way the box is designed, but I've kind of turned it into, like, a warped tradition at this point. Like, I've been getting Blizzard Collector's Editions for so long that, fuck it, like, why not? I have Wrath of the Lich King, the other two expansions, the Warcraft 3 Special Edition, the Diablo 3 Special Edition, both StarCraft 2 Special Editions. So,
see, I just I guess at least as long as all the trinkets fit inside the box again, then I don't mind. But it's just like I don't need any more trinkets. No more little figurines.
I will not. The Skyrim one, and I actually wish I didn't have the Alduin wall with the dragon. Like, it's a cool statue and all, but I'm like, I don't fucking want this. I should have sold it unwrapped or unopened for some bucks on eBay, but I didn't, and now it's on my shelf. But I will not be buying any more. Like, I just want the art book. If it's low key and comes with a good art book, fine.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's like, seriously, how many more paper maps can somebody have? I could open an entire store selling paper maps.
They're Blizzard and their fucking mouse pads. I have 30 different Blizzard mouse pads. I skipped on the Bioshock Infinite one because it sucked.
I didn't get that one either. I just ordered this is my new favorite practice. Have Dark Horse make the art book for you.
Exactly.
Buy the art book in the game. You don't have to buy it. Because you know what? If you don't come with a 8x10 art book or an 8x11 art book, it's that dinky little 3x7 or whatever, like the Fallout 3 one.
Wretched.
I don't want it.
Yep. I was a little disappointed I never got the Space Marine art book, but then I learned that it was that shitty, terrible, like, half book format, and which is a shame because I feel any Warhammer art deserves to be as huge as it can possibly be.
Yes.
So that was always a bit of an. Speaking of Warhammer, they're shutting her down here in not too long. The Age of Reckoning MMO.
Oh yeah.
Which it's.
I never played that. Did you?
Yeah, I did. I have the collector's edition right over there, which was a super great one. I kind of had pangs of like, oh no, and I was like, oh yeah, that game really wasn't what it needed to be. Not necessarily a bad game, but it was not what it needed to be to be a long-lasting game, which is a shame at the end of the day, but it is what it is. I didn't shed too many tears. So the overall consensus of the holiday game lineup is that aside from the South Park game, it's not super great. Oh, Wasteland 2, I believe, is going into beta here pretty soon.
Oh, really?
The Kickstarter Wasteland 2, the backers who are in the get the beta category are supposed to be getting it here in the next month or so, from what I understand.
Oh, man. I'm still going to play Shadowrun, but I want to see, because I actually did a couple of assets for the Wasteland 2 community art thing, and I want to see, I saw my turret in one of their screenshots. I want to see where my other stuff is.
I'd been staying away from that for a long time. Like, I haven't paid any attention to it, like, the last year, mostly because they hadn't they didn't have like an update for months with the whole Torment Numenera thing going on, and just kind of them keeping their noses to the grindstone. But I watched like an 18-minute demo of it the other day on YouTube, and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, this is shaping up pretty good. I was impressed. I'm glad to see that my money has been well spent by Mr. Fargo. Actually, that's probably not a bad topic for another episode, is kind of Kickstarter and what it means and what's good about it and what sucks about it. I'd kind of like to hear your thoughts on that. That is for another time. We're getting down to the wire. I think we're going to have to cut a couple of these news items for later. So let's stick with interesting games that I have spotted. I'll start this one off. Hellraid, which you bought into pretty hardcore the other day. I played it a few weeks before, and I was like, oh, it's another Dead Island, but medieval, because they have that Dying Light game, which is kind of the sequel to Dead Island, or spiritual successor, or something.
Yep.
Capacity, and then they have this Hellraid. Which, did you play the Choose Your Own Adventure YouTube video thing?
I did. I did.
What'd you think?
Well, I love that the first thing you can do is drink a potion or open a chest. So being the greedy loot bastard I am, I picked the chest and it exploded immediately, which I thought, this is great.
Yep, I approved. I was like, you sons of bitches. You did that on purpose.
Yeah, I'm just like, because I mean, the whole Dead Island thing, I was like, this idea is fantastic. But holy crap, am I sick of modern-day zombie games? Like, give me anything else.
Sure.
And it's like that whole survival and sort of medieval Hexen-style theme. I'm like, yes, this is my Dead Island. When everyone was like, the Dead Island trailer, that's amazing, I was like, it's okay, another zombie game. And now it's like, here's my Dead Island.
Yeah, legit. Although I guess they're making a movie based on the trailer for Dead Island. It's not a movie based on Dead Island. I don't know if they are making it, but they wanted to. There was at least serious talks about it, but they're like, we're going to make a movie because of this trailer. The game means nothing, but this trailer, so that was kind of humorous. So yeah, Hellraid, I'm with you. I see a lot of, I don't know why, but I looked at it and I thought Hellgate London for some reason. I know they're not even remotely related, but that's just like that gray tone of color is just where it sent me, and I was cautiously optimistic. So I mean, yeah, if it's essentially a new Hexen, I'm down. Another one kind of in a very similar vein that I saw, I think it was on PC Gamer, was Lichdom. Which is in the CryEngine 3. How did they word it? It was like CryEngine 3 plus some other game equals this game, and it intrigued me quite a bit.
I was watching, so they have, if you go to Twitch, they have some live streams of their beta testing.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a Borderlands meets Magicka. Like, you kind of can create your own spells with components that you can get off of loot, and then it's all about casting spells and sort of those Borderlands giant zones. And I think it's co-op. I don't think the playtest was co-op, but I mean, it looks pretty fun. I'm excited. I'm all for anything CryEngine. They did that. That engine does not get enough use.
Well, excuse me. I agree. It struck me as something to watch. I will be paying attention to it, and obviously there's all the Kickstarter games that are kind of getting to be in full swing these days.
Yeah.
That I've been keeping an eye on.
Yeah, so I got a game for you. I think this is right up your alley.
Pray tell.
Deathfire: Runes of Nethermore.
I think I read the RPS article about this today.
Yeah, I saw this today. I'm like, this is right. Jason's gonna flip when he sees this.
Yes. Kind of that that Grimrock kind of harkened back to those. I still haven't beaten Grimrock, and there's another one of those coming here not too long.
Is it really? Because that's on my backlog too.
Yeah, they're going outside. You're not just stuck in that one dungeon. They're doing some outdoor tiles. So I'm interested to see how that pans out. But yeah, absolutely. This game flipped my switch today. I was very happy to see it. I mean, it's got some. Looking at the devs, man, it's got some serious history. Like Realms of Arcania was huge in Europe. Like GOG has given them away in years past. I have like 1, 2, and 3. I'll never play them because it's absolutely outrageously hard. What I understand. The guy worked on Torment, Realms of Arcania, and Fallout 2. Those are pretty solid credentials. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to Deathfire here. I like it.
It looked fantastic from the screenshots.
Oh, for sure. It's gorgeous.
You know what? Kind of off topic, but you know what game looked really good and then just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth? Was it Outlast or It's like that fantasy shooter.
Outlast is that zombie one that, well, not zombie, but the survival horror one that came out a little bit ago.
I'm trying to think.
Is apparently super good.
Project Offset.
Oh, that rings a bell. Hold on here.
Someone brought this up like 2 or 3 weeks ago at work, and I was like,
yes! Oh, God, this was like when we were in college, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I guess they canceled it in 2010, but I was just like, man, and I was looking back at all the screenshots and stuff, and the Nevermore game kind of reminded me. I was like, man, this game looked fantastic.
Absolutely.
I'm still surprised that someone didn't pick it up or do something with it.
Yeah, it seemed like a better Might and Magic. What was that one that was first person? It was built in Source. The name escapes me, but
Dark Messiah?
Yes, that's what I think of when I see this now. But yeah, I remember watching tech demos for this ages ago.
Yeah, I remember they had that big booth at GDC. The monitor is just showing that one trailer over and over and over.
Yep. God, what a shame. Yeah, bummer. Speaking of kind of games that faded in the limelight, I know we're getting off track here, but whatever happened to the Fallout MMO that Interplay was trying to do to keep the rights from Bethesda or something? I wonder whatever happened to that.
I totally forgot about that.
That was
Fallout Online? I remember signing up for the beta test for this a year ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's canceled.
How did that sneak by us? Bummer.
Oh, it just says canceled on IGN.
Yeah, well, can't win them all. Look at 38 Studios. I wonder if their auction ever turned up anything. I haven't heard anything about it, I don't think that's happened yet. They're supposed to be auctioning. I think they're supposed to be auctioning off the IPs and stuff here in the next month or two.
They're actually going to be auctioning off assets.
Wow.
Like game assets. I wonder if anyone's going to buy any of those and do anything with them, because it looked good.
Yeah.
The art was fantastic.
Indeed. All right, so very, very much a medieval action game theme on Game.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which I guess I'm a little biased, but I'm not super into the indie scene to where, I know there's games like Papers, Please, which I kind of want to check out, and some other games on the indie front that don't look wretched, unlike that Eldritch game. I guess that's coming out pretty soon, where it's like Minecraft Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Bastardization.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see that. For me, the whole block, build a block world, it's cool. Like Minecraft totally made it insanely popular, and it's some people have done really interesting things with it. Like I'm interested in that Cube World, that kind of doing that hack and slash RPG with that block aesthetic, but everything looks like pixel art. So it kind of looks neat, but it's like I don't know. I have to see how they use it because I feel a lot of games just use the block mechanic and aesthetic because it's either easy to do or they want to get on that Minecraft bandwagon. So I'm not really a huge fan of it. I mean, I'm all for a Lovecraftian survival horror style game, but if
it's not that.
Oh, it's not?
It is not that. I mean, I wrote it off pretty quickly, maybe quicker than I should have, but it literally looked like if you replaced the creatures in Minecraft with creatures from Cthulhu. That is the gist that I got. It was that same pacing, that same feel. So I wrote it off pretty damn quick. Pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, like, besides like the games that I have on Kickstarter that I'm waiting to play and get a hold of, there really isn't like a whole lot of even like smaller indie games coming out. I mean, I know everyone was getting into Rogue Legacy when that first came out, and I haven't played that at all, but I've heard it's really good. I don't know, indie games are...
Is that Robot Loves Kitty one?
No, that's like Rogue Legacy is like a side scroller roguelike. Like you die once, you gotta do everything over.
Right. Is it like kind of pixely, like 8-bit looking?
Yeah, like
Polygon or something did an article about them. I read it last week. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
They like lived in some shack in Vermont for 2 years or something.
Oh, really?
Sound like a bunch of hippies, but the game looked pretty solid. I'll have to check it out. But
yeah, like I mean, I'm not a huge platformer guy anymore. I mean, I didn't kickstart the Mega Man thing because I knew it was going to get kickstarted anyways.
Right.
But like, I mean, platformers haven't really like got me that excited. And a lot of indie games seem to be platformers. I played the demo for Papers, Please when that was first out, and that was absolutely fantastic. I love that sort of. I like games where you have to make gray decisions and they don't tell you they're right or wrong. It's just like, I made this right decision, and you might thought you made a different right decision. You know, we both think we're right.
Yeah, that is something I want to check out at some point for sure. In the last couple minutes, while we're on Kickstarter, what are some of the projects that you have kickstarted?
So the one I'm looking forward to the most is the Stomping Lands.
Is that the one with the dinosaurs that you showed me?
Yes, it is. It's DayZ, which I got all excited to play DayZ, got everything to play it, and then never played it. Like installed Arma and everything, and it's like, but I watched a ton of videos on DayZ. I'm like, oh, this is awesome, but it's another zombie game,
Right.
so I'm kind of. And this is essentially DayZ with dinosaurs and cavemen, which I've been dying to get a caveman game since they canceled BC. You know, the game that was supposed to be after Fable.
Yep.
So I mean, it looks super fantastic. They have like different armor designs that they just put out, but there hasn't been an update for a while, so who really knows? But the guy asked for 20,000, he got 114. So
yeah, unless he's buying Lamborghinis, I think you're all set in terms of actually getting it
Well,
done.
and I think he used to work on Skyrim.
Oh, that's legit.
Yeah, he's worked on Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, and Dungeon Defenders. So
Dungeon Defenders is great. That is a great game.
he did everything on Stomping Land at the time of the Kickstarter. All the code, all the art, all the animation.
Dang.
He was a one-man monster.
Right on. Kudos to him.
How about yourself? Have you kickstarted anything?
Yeah. Wasteland 2, Numenera, Project Eternity, and Dreamfall, which is there's Longest Journey, and then the other one, which I think is called something. I think that might be called Dreamfall, but I forget now. But it's kind of the third game in that series. Red Thread Games So they've been pretty quiet lately too, but they also got a very substantial amount of money. I think it was close to 2 mil. So
Yeah.
uh, so I'm looking forward to those. Wasteland is the only one that's even remotely kind of on its way to being something that you can play around with. So, but Numenera and Project Eternity are very good about sending out pretty regular updates. So the state of things is never super unknown, which is
Yeah.
comforting.
Well, I don't blame them. It's hard. I'd rather have them working on stuff
Oh, for sure.
than writing on the internet all the time. So.
But well, it is past the hour, so I think we will wrap this episode up, and we'll save some of these topics for a later time and add some other ones. So thanks for joining me, Billy, and
Yeah, no problem.
maybe we'll
Thank
try
you.
this. Well, maybe we'll try this next week, or seeing how things pan out, we'll play it by ear.
Yep,
All
sounds
right.
good.
Yep. Have a good night, sir.
Yep, you too. Later.